Hey guys, welcome back to our second episode. We want to first thank everyone who tuned in on our first episode. Thank you. We hope you enjoyed. In this episode, we're going to first start talking about like the medical field, treatment, therapy, surgeries from our personal experiences, and then we're going to talk about some fears we have related to CP, and then we're going to close it that with hobbies that you can still enjoy and are CP friendly. So first, Sarah is going to start us with talking about her experience in the medical field.
Yeah, so really, I really didn't have any surgery per se, but I went to therapy up from like 2 until 12, basically throughout the public school system where I can get all that. So I went to PT, OT, and speech, and I think it really was super beneficial. I did go like to more therapy outside of school, but I did get it almost probably 2 times a week. And I think they still do that. And I think it's super beneficial. And then I periodically go back to therapy. Most recently, I went because when I got pregnant, I had really bad back pain as well as I developed carpal tunnel. So basically at therapy they would massage my wrists and stuff, and they taught me certain exercises to combat that back pain. And so I think throughout that I learned you need to stretch. You need to work out, do something every day for your body. Like, I need it.
Yeah, no.
It's important. What else? I did not have any surgery or anything like that, but I do have irreversible cartilage damage in my right shoulder, and I will have to get that replaced at some point.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Sure.
How does that like affect your shoulder? Sorry, I've never really like heard
No,
of that.
it's very no, it's very painful, and
Oh
you
God.
can't lift like any amount of weight with that arm.
Cartilage is
So
what cushions the joints.
yeah, so it's
Oh,
basically
biology.
becoming bone on bone, which super
Do,
painful.
do you hear a lot of
Yeah, that's
grinding?
hard.
Yes,
Yeah, I do too.
like when
Yeah.
you lift it, it goes.
Oh, you hear it
Yeah.
like cracking and popping.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
nauseating.
I'm gonna be like, uh-oh.
And I'm pretty sure I got it when they had the baby because it
Oh.
involved a ton of carrying, lifting, changing, all that stuff. And that's when I noticed it get really bad through all
Oh,
that
so it kind
work
of
with
overworked
her.
it.
What's that?
So it kind of like overworked your shoulder, and that's how
Oh,
it happened.
definitely. And then at certain times, I don't know about you guys, but my body gets super inflamed, just my joints and everything.
Mhm.
And sometimes the pain goes away, but when I get really um inflamed, it hurts a lot worse, I will
Oh.
say.
Have you found
And
ways to like soothe it or anything?
they say, like, ice, then heat, then ice, then heat. Because
Ice
they
and
don't,
heat are always a solution to everything.
right? Like, of course, I can't take drugs, and when I was breastfeeding, you can't
Oh,
take
you
any of that
breastfed.
either. So, um, it's just been a lot of and strengthening it, um,
Mm-hmm.
through therapy and stuff like that. Strength training with weights and such. But I mean, I can go into pregnancy, but that can be a whole
That can
another
be, yeah,
topic.
we'll go
So
way in depth and found another
yeah,
video. Yeah, that way you can really elaborate on it.
it
I'd
is
love to hear that
interesting,
experience.
but I think I'll leave in that and go to Carson.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is I've actually I've been curious about that too with women in pregnancy that have CP, and I've even done some research on that myself, and I read countless articles and stuff about how women were just in terror over it, because your body's different and tightness and everything, and I read a lot of times women have to have C-sections, have
Yeah.
CP, and yes,
It is very common.
Did you have a
Yeah.
C-section?
I did not.
Oh, you did natural.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is, I mean, it's a scary thing for any woman, but I can't imagine having CP with it too, and having to deal with that.
I think it's the stigma around it too. It can be very discouraging, to say
Well,
the
yeah,
least.
absolutely. I read some women and stuff that were talking, saying that they felt like they were discriminated against just because they had a disability and they were given birth. And some women were saying that they had doctors say to them, "Oh, I didn't know you can get pregnant. I didn't know you could have babies."
How could they go through years of med school and residency and still have so much ignorance? That's so embarrassing to
Yeah.
go through that much
Well,
school.
yeah,
Oh my
it's like,
God.
yeah, your anatomy is the exact same as a able-bodied person. It's just,
Exactly. We can, do all those functions. Like, what?
Yeah.
We have periods, we have everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think the worst thing I heard was like, "Oh, will your baby have CP too?"
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I feel like they
I
weren't
can see where that's
being
coming
mean about
from.
it, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too is that whole genetic thing, and that's the thing is I don't know, when you start dating people and stuff, you expect that question to come up, and it's like, no,
Right.
it's not a genetic thing. It's a birthing, it's if the
Yeah,
birthing
it's not
process goes wrong.
hereditary.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, there's so much ignorance and stuff about it. Actually, when I was born, my my dad's mother, which was my grandmother, she passed away years ago, but she actually initially thought it was because my mom was smoking, because my mom was a smoker then, and
Oh.
and I'm sure it could possibly play a part, but it's not just because of that.
Yeah, it's not
No.
that, but it's definitely not healthy to do that while you're pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's the thing though is people have done worse and had healthy babies, so you can't really. It's just I remember I
It's
used to
random.
exactly. I remember I asked my parents questions when I was a teenager, and I remember they just told me, they said, no one's to blame. They just said, son, it is how it is.
Right.
No one's
Yeah,
to
exactly. You
blame.
never know.
Because there's cases, like I said, where people are healthy and they deliver good babies. There's people where people are unhealthy doing drugs and they have healthy babies. And it's just
Yeah, it's
I
so
guess it's
unfair
just
how that. Like people who are
exactly.
healthy don't deliver unhealthy.
Yeah, it's just
Deliver
will.
unhealthy babies.
It's just I don't know. I like to say it's just God's will. Because it's just how it's supposed to be. And like I said, I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, because my mom, I think she did everything that you should be during pregnancy. Maybe some dietary things. I forgot one thing, but it wasn't like horrible. And it's like still happened to her. But she didn't like smoke, drink, any of that. And apparently, like my doctor even knew, or not my doctor, I wasn't born. My mom's a doctor, knew that I was gonna have some condition, and they kept it under like wraps. Like the doctor did not disclose that to my parents, like whatsoever. And my parents were like pissed when they found out when my mom was giving birth or whatever, and they were thinking of suing, but then they're like, "What's the use? It's not gonna like make me able-bodied." But it's like I wouldn't have anyways.
Well, you actually and that's the thing is that's kind of a similar thing because with me I this is gonna sound really bad, but I almost wondered if the doctor did it on purpose, because you want to know something, his
Oh
son
no,
had
I'm sure 100% they did because they didn't want to deal with that. They didn't want to get in trouble or like.
exactly. Well, my doctor delivered me, his son had CP, and so then I went in my mind,
Oh,
and I was like, you never know if someone does this like deliberately, to do it in a bad way because they're mad that their kid had it, so like, okay, I'm gonna
right,
give
which is
this
just so
family.
sad.
Yeah.
Some people
Well,
really don't wish people well because of their circumstances.
was it? Did you stop breathing in the womb, both of you?
I didn't. I was still breathing, but I was just being choked up by my umbilical
I
cord.
honestly don't know if I would have to ask my mom. I don't think I did. She would have probably mentioned that to me.
Were you guys all premature?
No, only by
I
8
Yeah.
was
days,
not.
not really.
Yeah, I was by like a month.
Oh wow, okay, so you were.
Yeah, I was actually supposed to be born on the 4th of July. I'm glad I wasn't.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. You're not living.
America.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but no, with my situation, let's see, I started doing physical therapy at the age of 2. I had my first surgery when I was about 3 or 4, and I had both my calves slit open, and I had my calf stretched.
Huh?
Then I
Is
had
it the muscle?
yeah,
The
I
calf
my
muscle?
yeah, my calf ligaments stretched.
Uh,
And then with the same surgery, they actually kind of went like in my crotch and my groin, and they it's like your pelvic muscles. They did a little surgery there, and they loosened those. And I remember that was extremely painful.
I can imagine. Wait, you were under anesthesia?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Um, so that was really painful. And then I remember I had to lay with like this weird leg splint on for about 3 months.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't move. I was just laying down. And then I think I had some sort of lung infection during the same time too, and I was coughing up blood too during the same time.
Oh God.
And then I then I recovered from that. And yeah, yeah, when I was born, I had pneumonia and RSV too at the same time.
You were born with that?
Yeah,
Oh, that's probably the result of your mom smoking.
yeah, or
Because
something.
that went in your lungs, it seems.
Well, do you have any lung issues now?
Um, you know, I don't think so, but I could say that I don't feel like my breathing is right. Like I don't know. I think it might just because of tightness, like in my chest wall. I feel like it's like restricted kind of, so it's like, you know what I mean?
Like
I feel like
a shallow,
yeah, I almost feel like
like
it
shallow breathing? Yeah.
yeah, and that could be really hard and stuff. It's like, let's see, not yesterday, the night before, I was up till 9 in the morning. I stayed up all night because I couldn't sleep.
All-nighter? Jesus.
Yeah, I've done all nighters like probably 4 or 5 years of my life. Um,
Was
well,
it like
yeah,
out of choice or because you couldn't sleep?
some of them was doing stupid things with people, and some were
Yeah,
just
understandable,
yeah,
gosh.
just the way it was. Um, but no, then getting past that, so I had a surgery every year for my life. Um,
Wow.
and then I had, let's see, yeah, I have about a foot long incision on my left leg, and then I have one on my right leg, and then I have one on my hip too. They took out a piece of my hip bone and they put it in my ankle. And then
What
Interesting.
what was that supposed to do?
Yeah, did
um
you notice any difference? Did you
well
find them
so
effective in any way?
um well essentially and stuff what was happening was, because with CP sometimes people's legs turn inwards, and
Yeah.
mine was pretty bad when I was young, so it was supposed to stop my foot from turning inwards, so it was making it kind of more stable
Oh,
and stuff and
Okay.
secure. And
there it
so
is.
then I had my Achilles tendon cut too. That was horrible. That was
Oh
horrible.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and then I had another one on my ankle, and then I don't know. There's some more in there. I can't remember them all. but
Yeah, I mean, how would you if you get one like every
um,
year? If you had like
but
15
but
surgeries.
I remember when I was young, I used to have to do physical therapy, and I actually didn't walk until I was about 4 or 5. I used
Same.
to. I actually after surgeries and stuff, since I couldn't walk, I used to crawl around on the ground. Um,
Hmm.
so, um, and I remember my physical therapist, she used to work on reflexes a lot. So she'd stand there and toss tennis balls to me, and I used to have to catch them. And
Hmm.
doing stuff like that, then doing different strength exercises and things like that.
Did you
I
just
would,
go to PT or OT too?
um, what's actually funny? So I just did PT, but my physical therapist would come to my house.
Mm.
Um,
From
Oh.
home or from school?
yeah,
Was
she
it
would
yeah,
actually.
was it affiliated with a school or not?
So yeah, so she's like my own personal physical therapist. She wasn't a part of the school; she was an associate.
Oh,
Oh.
So
okay.
sometimes she would come to school though for like half an hour. Then sometimes she'd
Okay.
come at my home. She was an awesome physical therapist. She actually gave me my very first Bible. She was a really sweet lady, but she was the type of woman where she dealt with so many children with disabilities and stuff that she would not let you make any excuses and say, no, I can't do this, I can't do this. And her one rule and stuff is that you try. Because she told me and stuff. She said, if you listen to everything I tell you and you do everything I can tell you, you're gonna walk with a slight limp when you're a young man. And so I did for many many years. And as of now and stuff, I walk with a slight limp. I could say that Overall, I had very good doctors. I went to Shriners in Portland, Oregon. They were professional, and luckily I got a doctor who was an old man, so he had like 30 years under his belt before I even saw him. Um,
Good.
and I will say this. It's been hard. Of course, you learn as you go and stuff, but as you get older and stuff, like it's actually funny. I think surgeries now would be harder now that I'm older than when I was younger.
Oh
I
yeah, I
thought
remember the
so.
surgeons telling my parents, yeah, that it's like better for me to do it when I'm younger.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is it can be humiliating. I remember having to go to the
It is.
bathroom and nurses having to help you up and they see you naked and all that kind of stuff and
Mm.
Yes.
and I remember and stuff almost because they come in your room about every half an hour to check your vitals and do things like that. And I remember when I'd stay at the hospital sometimes for 2 3 weeks 4 weeks or whatever. I remember it was so weird because it's like you'd be out and then you wake up you'd see like 100 new faces. This
Yeah.
person, this person, this person, this person coming in, and it was so weird, because you're so high on drugs, on morphine, and things like that you don't really even know what's going on.
Yeah,
But
you don't process
I
it.
always just had a really good work ethic, and I knew that I couldn't just sit around and mope and just let my body waste. No, but I was just gonna say and stuff. In the past few years, I've slacked. I've just kind of been a little bit lazy, and I've been getting really motivated lately though, because I was like, I can't throw away this opportunity that was given to me. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many people that are in worse situations. Um, and I put in so much work and stuff into my body and stuff, and I told my fiance this. And it sucks because, I'd say like physically and stuff, I'm pretty toned, like I'm pretty like defined, like muscular wise and stuff, and it always sucked to me and stuff, because girls were always interested in me, like, oh, you have abs and things like that, but the bad thing was though is they didn't realize that it was because of pain, because my muscles are so tight, and so when I would exercise and stuff, I would get like twice the amount of results of the average person, so I looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to sacrifice pain for that, and that's the thing too
Right.
is I even had other boys when I was a teenager, or even grown men say, "Damn, you look really good," and it's like, yeah, only if you guys knew what I was feeling though.
Right. Yeah, so you had to get through hell to like.
Oh, exactly, and it's like as of right now, I've noticed. I don't know if you guys do this, but my bones pop all the time now. It's like I turn my neck sometimes and it'll
Oh
pop.
yeah, no, literally.
Totally.
I won't even be stretching, just daily functionings. Move my hand, crack, crack.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as medical professionals, it hasn't been easy in the past few years because once you're an adult, they kind of throw you off to the side and they're like, "Oh, you're on your own." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're an adult
Yeah.
now, and so it's really hard to find specialists because when you do research to find specialists, all that pops up is for children.
It's all pediatric, all
Exactly.
adolescents,
Exactly.
younger.
So it's really really difficult, and but yeah, that's been my experience, and overall and stuff, I'm very very humble, and I'm really really blessed and stuff to be as fortunate as I am in the position I am, and and that's the thing is it's like that's what's so cool and stuff. Like I said, I've said several times previously is look at our group, like for example, my legs are more affected than anything. My upper body's not really affected besides tightness. But so for example, my legs are mostly affected. Sonia, your hand, and your arm, and then
Mhm.
Sarah, in her ways and stuff. And it's like, it's so cool because we can reach out to a variety of people. That's
Yeah,
really
it's
Yeah.
like crazy how we all have like not the same diagnosis, same disability, but it's like literally like a huge ass scale with like like millions of possibilities.
It's
exactly.
No case
we're
is the
all
same.
very unique, and
Hmm.
it's I'm so glad we get to share this because
Yeah.
people are thinking the same thing you are, Carson. Hey,
Hmm.
look at these guys. They're not like me, but they're like me. You
Hmm.
know
Yeah,
what I
there's not
mean?
exactly alike, but similar enough. It's
Yes,
like I feel we bond over just
they
having
Well,
the
get
same
me.
well, yeah,
disability.
exactly. And then speaking on the medical stuff more, it's really really hard and stuff because it's like, um, like being in a relationship with someone, it's really really hard and stuff because you're like, I can't predict when this is gonna get worse. Then
Yeah.
if you become a parent too, you're like, oh my god, I don't want it to get worse and not being able to take care of my children. You know what I mean? And sit there
Mhm.
not being able to play with them and stuff. So it's really really hard. And then you don't know if future operations are coming.
Wait, do you want kids? Is it okay if I ask?
Yeah, absolutely. I want about 3 or 4. Me and my fiance are gonna probably try it sometime next year.
Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, that's like a whole parade.
Well, the way I look at it though is what matters is if you're a good parent and stuff, and
No,
you
I'm
have.
not saying that in a bad way. That's
Yeah, I
nice. That's
think it's a
good.
Well,
I
great
could see you
thing.
being a good parent. Yeah.
well, yeah. It's just because I had bad parenting and my parents weren't good, so I just had like a really really strong passion and stuff to rewrite, I guess, family history.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I'm so glad you're not letting it
And like,
affect you and you're just gonna carry it down. I'm glad you're really trying to
well, yeah, because I felt
rewrite
if
all of that and learn from
exactly.
what they did.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because I felt like I don't know, in a way, I'd actually be able to get over my childhood if I was able to give my children a good childhood. Like I know that kind of
Right,
sounds
that's your
selfish,
way of
but
helping heal yourself by
yeah,
giving
exactly.
people what you didn't
Um,
have.
but Sonia, I will pass the baton to you and let you go ahead.
So I keep started therapy like really young, like you guys. I'm, I don't remember how old I did, but I remember when I was like 6 months, I started swimming, and I had like a special coach that like specialized with like disability, like helping like do adaptive swimming. So I know that really helped my right arm and both of my legs tremendously at a very young age. So I am able to swim, and I think if I hadn't started young, I wouldn't be able to. And then I did have therapy for a really long time. I did um, OT and PT, and I think I stopped right before high school. I had it in school and outside of school. I didn't do it in school for long. I did it a little bit in elementary school. But me nor my parents really liked the therapist because like it was for OT, and she was trying to, instead of like maximizing the use of my right hand, she was trying to develop techniques where I would do everything one handed, and I want to get as much use out of my right hand as
Yeah.
possible. Obviously, I know like even if I work hard, like there's still stuff I won't be able to do. But like if I stretch it, if I work on using it, like it can. And I try even now making a conscious effort to include it when possible because
Hmm.
I have it, so I might as well use it. So then we stopped the OT with the school, but I did it like outside, and it really helped. I learned how to stretch, tie my shoes, and stuff like that. But I was really ungrateful, unfortunately, when I was a kid for therapy. Like I mentioned, I think in the last episode, I would find ways to get out and stuff. But I wish I could tell myself to go back because I learned so many techniques, like how to pour like a glass of milk or like anything. It's like things like that, like just very good life skills. So I do really recommend therapy. And then I also did do surgery as well. I did one on my for my leg, and then I did one for my arm. And I was like you, I had like a big like how you said like a splint. Oh my god, that was like so debilitating. Like I became so dependent. Like I couldn't bathe myself. And for a while I couldn't even like they didn't even let me like take like a shower. You had to do I don't know if you had to do it, but like you had to use like cloths or rags
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
couldn't
like
like
sponges
do like
almost.
a head shower.
Yeah, yep.
Mm.
And I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself, and like so this to me was like a whole new way to get used to for a while. So my mom would help me with that, and I remember I was really sad that like on the first day of 6th grade I had to go in a wheelchair, and since it was a new middle school, I didn't want at that point I was like really insecure, and I didn't want people to
Right.
perceive me it as more severe than it actually is. And because of the surgery I had to learn to rewalk and stuff, and that was like it was like wow, like the recovery process for that surgery was like insane. And so like I really tried to not let it go to waste. I used that work ethic. I put in a lot of effort to make sure that I did learn how to rewalk and stretch. So then like all that pain of post recovery didn't go to waste. And then I did have an arm surgery. Like they were around the same time. And then that too I had like a whole like brace thing long post recovery. I'm not sure how much that really did, but I think it might have like opened up my hand a bit, like so then the fingers don't like crinkle in as
Yeah, it's
much.
probably the ligaments to loosen up the ligaments.
No, they like moved around a tendon, and I have like a
Uh huh.
big. I don't know if I can you can see on camera, but they've like anyway like a huge scar like right like below my hand on the arm part. It's like yeah, but that's okay. And then so that's pretty much my experience in the whole medical
Well,
field realm.
you,
Oh wait, I do want to say more about what I did with therapy, like specifically, because I did like a lot of different therapy. I did like constraint therapy where like they would put my left arm in a cast because that's my strong arm, and then I would have to do a lot like pretty much everything with my right hand. And I hated at the time when I tried finding ways to take off the cast, but it really helped me because it would force me because like my brain like doesn't think of sometimes using my right hand, so that was very helpful. And then I had like an eye patch that I would switch my eyes, so then it would strengthen like each eye because
Mm.
both of my eyes are affected. And so I did like a wide variety of therapy. That's what I can remember. And now we're gonna talk about our
Oh,
fears, and Sarah's gonna start us off.
I will, yes. Can I ask you, did either of you do speech therapy?
I did when I was in elementary school. I used to stutter a lot.
Okay. How
Yeah.
about you, Sonia?
I did not.
Okay. I know, because your voice is beautiful.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
welcome. Oh, did you want to talk about baclofen, Sonia?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
medication. Oh, um, yes, I take lamotrigine first, which is because I related to my CP. I don't know. Do you guys get seizures or did you guys
No.
skip
I
that?
did when I was born, and then
Oh,
never
when you were
again.
born, and then it just went away?
Yeah.
You like outgrew them. Okay. What
I,
about you,
I
Carson?
I've never had any or anything like that.
Oh, well, because of my CP, I also am prone to seizures, so I do take 125 milligrams of lamotrigine daily. I do it every night.
um,
My dosage, I've slowly been able to go down and down, but my neurologist doesn't want me to ever go off of it. I used to have to take it 3 times a day, but
how
so
when
that just
you
helps. If I take it regularly, I will not get a seizure. But even if I miss it once, I was traveling one time and I missed it once because we're so busy, different like time
right.
zones, like huge time difference, and so then I had a seizure. But so I haven't had one since June 2022, and then I do take baclofen, which just basically helps relax my muscles. I do notice a difference that I do feel like, especially my arm, like my right arm, I do notice that it is a little um, looser, lighter, and so I am able to use it a bit more. Especially the hand, I can grip things better because it doesn't like clench up.
Do
So
you
that is really nice. But
do you
yeah.
take it orally or do you get injections?
No, orally. Wait, did you guys do Botox like when you were younger?
Yeah, I did when I was little.
I
Oh yeah,
didn't.
I
I
did
like
that
it in
too. I
my
just remember
forehead
having a
though.
shot that hurt. What, Sarah?
I like it in my forehead though. No.
I'm gonna get to that point in a decade or so too.
Well, but I am on baclofen too, and I wanted to ask you, if you miss a dose, do you feel like jittery or anxious?
I last time I missed it was June 2022 where I missed all my medication. I don't really know because the main thing that consumed me was the seizure, so I
Okay.
cannot really answer that. But
Yeah,
I'm pretty
so
good
I
about it.
feel like I try not to take it. Like I try to wean myself off of it, and I
Really?
find it.
Why?
I just hate the thought of taking medicine. Like I'm not
Mm,
a medicine person, but it
no, I
does help me, so I probably will continue to take it, but
yeah. There's
it's
definitely a
just
noticeable difference.
we're
I
getting
can't ever fully get off medication, and if I'm gonna
right
already
because
take
of your
my seizure
seizure.
medication, I might as
Right,
well take that. I just take it at the same time.
right,
Well, and that's the thing too is you don't want to get too dependent on anything. You know,
correct. Yeah.
that's what's kind of scary. For me though, and I would rather have quality over quantity. Like if I die at 40 because of medication use, if I ever have to take medication, I don't care because it's
No, no, do that.
quality over quantity. Well, I know it kind of sounds dark and stuff, but it's like when you get to
No,
the
I
point.
agree. I'm like I would rather, yeah, fully maximize. I wouldn't live out 100 miserable years. And honestly, I just want to be done by 80.
No, I want you with me.
Yeah, we'll be here together till the end of time.
Thank you. Well, we got one get into fears now.
Yeah, let's
You
go.
want to deep dive into that?
Yeah.
Let's get real deep and vulnerable.
It'll get deep. So I think starting off later, like a career, is super always on my mind actually, because before I had my kid, I had a degree, a BA, and it was so hard finding a job. And
This
then,
job market's dog shit.
yeah, it's that, but it's also people weren't willing to give me a chance, you know.
I'm
And
sorry.
on top of that, I may need accommodation or whatever it may be, a longer or shorter schedule, whatever.
Hmm.
And people see that and they don't see value in you anymore. So that's
That's
a huge fear of mine. One
right. You're
of
not
them.
getting the opportunity
Yeah,
you deserve just because of your disability. You're
yeah.
perfectly capable.
There's a lot of discrimination in the workforce.
Hmm.
There's a
Despite
lot.
all
Yeah.
the ADA
And
laws and
I'm not
regulations.
saying I'm a genius or I know better than either of you, but I do deserve a chance
No,
to
you
prove
100%
myself, you
do.
know.
Everyone does.
Of course, yeah. So
Yeah, you
that's
do deserve a chance to prove yourself. If someone would give you it, I'm sure you would exceed expectations.
yeah. I feel like a hard worker. I feel like
I do get that vibe from you.
thank you. But yeah. Do you want me to go on or do you want to share some? Either of you.
No, go on.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
love to hear you.
Okay, another one. I'm not gonna cry. I told
It's
myself.
okay if you do, and you don't have to share if you don't want to.
No, I want to, because it's important. I have this fear that my daughter will someday be embarrassed by me, and it eats at me. I try not to think about it, but I know I was embarrassed by my own mother. I know it happens, you
Mhm.
know, to everyone, but it's a sinking gut feeling, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know a lot of kids just in general, like teenage years and younger do get embarrassed just by their parents in general. But I'm sure you're gonna teach her well. She's gonna value like your hard work, your kindness, your compassion, and maybe there might be a time where she does get a little embarrassed. But I think that's also gonna be partly just because of age, but not truly because of you. And she'll really
Yeah.
actually go to appreciate you.
I know it's normal. I know it's inevitable, but it's still like,
Oh yeah, I can see that. I'm
Well,
sorry.
and that's the thing is all kids are embarrassed of their parents
exactly.
I
to
know
a certain
I was.
degree.
I would
Um,
like not want my parents to say hi to me in school or like
exa-
they would drop me off 10 feet away.
exactly, you know what I mean. And that's the thing too is if you raise your children to accept differences, it'll just come natural to them. It's like it's just like drawing a picture. If you teach them to draw when they're young, art will become natural to them when they get older. You know
Right,
what I
it's
mean?
all about how you
So
raise them.
yeah, exactly. You know, and that's the thing is that's what I'm saying is being a parent that where you're different. That's so beautiful because your children will be even better than you were. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
um, here's the thing too is it's like I understand where you're coming from with that because I was always just a super socially aware person and I used to worry about that about just myself but especially as a parent because look, you have to remember though, little kids are innocent. And if she grows to be 15 and she's like, "Oh, I'm embarrassed of my mom," don't think that she's embarrassed of your CPA. She might just be embarrassed because
Because
of
you're a mom.
you're a
That's what I
mom.
was trying to get at
Yeah,
earlier. It's like it's
exactly.
never gonna be because of you personally. I think because you do have CP, I think that's gonna make her a more empathetic person to the world. For anyone who does have a difference, she's gonna be much more
Well,
kinder and accepting.
exactly. And something that I would like to say is my my grandfather. I was really really close with him. He was like a father to me, more than my own father. And
Aww.
when he was a kid, he almost got burnt to death. He had The only thing that didn't get burned on his body was his face. So he had scars all over, like skin grafts
Holy
and stuff like that.
shit. That would be
Yeah, and
painful.
so it's like that, for example, right? I mean, I was always curious, but I never looked
Hmm.
at him different or anything. He
Right, I feel
told
like
me
it's natural to be curious if someone is a little different than you. You
exactly.
can't blame someone for being
Exactly
curious.
like he told me what happened and stuff. I never realized when I was a little kid, but when
Hmm.
as I got older, I admired him more and more and stuff because
Right, it turns into admiration.
well, yeah, he was the only person in my family that I could relate to. You know what I mean? As far as
Hmm.
of having a difference, and But my whole entire point is you never know. You can have a child that might have a stutter or some sort of other insecurity, and you can make them more confident in themselves. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so, so yeah, absolutely. Don't like I said, don't worry about worries that may never come. You know what I mean? It's all just
Oh yeah, but it's in human nature to always just be worrying about the future, but that's very
exactly.
true.
If you have anything else, Sarah.
One more thing, because it kind of relates to all of us.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's this podcast in itself. I think it's us being very vulnerable and very open about who we are and what we deal with. And I think it could be fuel for people, ignorant people, to really destroy, even though it's a good thing,
Right.
Oh,
Which is really beautiful in what we're
absolutely.
doing.
When you're doing anything good in this world, some people will try to tear it down. It's just
People
the
are
way the
always
world
gonna tear
is.
down. People are gonna hate no matter what. That's how you know you're on the right track
And,
if you have
that's
hate.
the thing though. What can someone say? Oh, you have CP, this. Okay, so yeah, I do have
Right,
CP.
we're doing something
I know that
impactful.
I know the truth. You don't.
That's true. It's like they all have their truth. They don't know the whole story. They're just judging us.
I'm not saying this is right, but it's like when I was a teenager, I started feeling a lot better when I started talking shit back to people.
No, it definitely roots in insecurity and jealousy.
And that's the thing though too, is it's like a lot of the people that gave me shit were heavy set kids. They
Right,
were.
someone who's
And,
truly confident in
and
themselves
so
won't do that. They only
ex-
uplift people.
exactly, so I remember, for example, I got uh into an argument with a heavy set kid one time, and I said, because he worked at a nursing home, and I remember we were standing in concessions, and I pulled up my wallet, and he said something about money, and I said something. I said, yeah, well, the only money you get is from wiping asses.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
and then I said, oh yeah, that's dirty money, and then people started laughing, and then I remember he walked off and he said something, and I said, he said something on my leg, and I said, oh yeah, I said, go to the bakery, Pillsbury Doughboy, and then I remember he was like, oh, shut up, and then he started walking off, and that's my point is, I'm not saying that's good. I'm an adult now, of course. I probably wouldn't bicker with people over stupid things. People can say what they want. It's like I said, oh, you're gonna name call like a 4-year-old, good for you, or you're gonna poke fun, good for you. You know what I mean? It's so childish. Don't
Right,
retort.
some people just never grow up, which is unfortunate
Well,
for them.
I am so proud of you guys. Thank you. You give me confidence.
Oh,
And
I'm
supposed to
glad,
be
and
the
I'm
older
proud of
one.
you. You're doing so much, so amazingly.
Well, and that's the thing though too, is it's like I said, if people really want to resort to bowling, I mean, if adults want to resort to bowling, what does that say about them? I mean, it's just comical.
Exactly, it's all a
It really is.
self-reflection. That's
It's
how
like
I see it.
it's like, oh yeah, mister, show me how smart you are. Prove it more. Say
Right,
more.
they're just unhappy with their circumstance.
Exactly. And it's pathetic. It's for weak people. Weak people
Yeah, it's
seek out
not
weakness.
about us at all.
Because it's like, Sonia, you know your flaws. Sarah, you know your flaws. I know my flaws. Why do we need people to tell us? I mean,
Yeah,
what more can they tell us? You know what I mean?
literally.
True.
100%
Very
agree.
true. Okay, your turn. I'm done.
You're good.
You sure you got it all out?
I don't know, probably not, but
I would say my number one fear is not fulfilling my potential. Is due to pain and stuff, I'm worrying that it'll get in the way of what I'm meant to do and what I was put here to do. I'm worried about just not being able to be myself fully as I should have been. Because that's the thing is, I've sat there and I've listened to a bunch of old people talk, and they say that's their number one regret is not fulfilling their potential. But yeah, I would say my number one is not fulfilling my potential, just because I don't want to be like 80 and be like, oh God, I didn't do this because of fear, or I didn't do this because I was hurting. And that's why I said and stuff. I prefer quality life over quantity as far as medication goes. Because at the end of the day and stuff, I'd rather die at 45 and know I lived a good life than die at 85 and lived a terrible life. And I would say, as far as potential goes too, another part of that is not fulfilling my potential as a father. I'm afraid and stuff that my pain and stuff won't let me be a good father as I wish to be. I'm afraid and stuff that I will impact my children in negative ways. I'm afraid that I will become who my parents are. I'm afraid and stuff that I won't. Well, no, I know that. It's just it's a really really hard thing,
Right,
because
you know it in your heart, but in your mind you just keep ruminating about it.
exactly. And then the second thing I would say is I'd say guilt. Because it's really hard and stuff, especially when you have a partner, because you're like, oh damn, are they gonna have to take care of me when I get older, or damn, are they gonna have to wipe my butt, or are they gonna have to feed me? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm really independent now. Like, there's not a single thing that she has to do for me, but I don't know how it's gonna be in 40 years.
Right.
And that's the thing too, is I think, like, I don't know, I can't say I'm an insecure person, but I would say that's one of the biggest things that I'm insecure about. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, because I've asked my fiance. I told her, I said, yeah, I said, I get I'm really smart, and I get I'm a good looking man and stuff, but like like
Wow.
like like
Confidence, love it.
like
I love that you can brag. Love it.
but it's like I told her though. I said, what makes you choose me? And essentially what she told me and stuff is because there's only one of you. You know what I mean? You have qualities that nobody else has, and you have an understanding of the world as no one else has, and it's like, and so that brought me a lot of security, because I used to deal with that a lot in previous relationships, because I used to worry about that nonstop.
Right.
She's the first girl out of like 15 girlfriends that ever knew what I had, because I just always kept it on the down low, and I was like, oh yeah, someone else, oh, why is this?
I'm
Why is
glad
that?
you're able to be really open and vulnerable there, and she's so accepting. Wow, that's
Oh,
actually really,
exactly. And don't get me wrong, it took a lot of time. It
I can
it,
imagine so
it,
much
it,
courage.
it really did. It's like I don't know. I guess I have a lot of PTSD and stuff in my life, and I deal with nightmares and shit every night and stuff. And it's like,
Damn.
things like that and stuff it's like sleeping, for example, right? I feel bad and stuff because I'm up here all night, and she goes to bed like a little angel and stuff. No problem.
Oh,
And here I am and stuff. It's either because I'm hurting or my mind's racing, and it's like little things like that and stuff. You're just worried that it'll add up, over time on someone's plate. And then,
right, yeah, the little things can.
the third thing I would say is not being able to fully accept that I have CP. I guess I can say that I accept it, but not being able to, because a lot of times I would compare. How would my life be different?
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we all
Yeah.
like. I'm like I
Yeah.
would always think like how my life would be different if I did not have
Exactly.
CP.
Like, I'd say I'm finding more peace with it, but I can't say I've been at 100% peace with it yet. You know what I mean? I'd say like I'm like 80%, but I think the rest of like the 20% is gonna probably take my whole life, until I'm an
Right,
old
I
man
don't know if we
on my
ever
deathbed
fully reach
to
that
fully
point of
accept.
acceptance.
Exactly. And so, and that's the thing is it's like I said, this life isn't forever. I believe there's an afterlife and stuff, and I believe that, we're all here and stuff. We all just have different lessons to learn. You know what I mean? I was gifted cerebral palsy because I needed to learn lessons that other people haven't. Or I wouldn't learn it if I didn't have it. You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
so that's essentially my whole basis on where I stand on that. And yeah, so I will pass it on to you, Sonia.
Wow,
Before
yeah, that
you
was.
before you go, can I just mention something to
Mhm.
Carson?
Mhm.
So I have a
Yeah.
kid,
Mhm.
and they are so accommodating. You can't believe
Aw.
it.
Mhm.
So if you do have fears you won't be able to run around with your kids, they will make it happen because they don't care what you can't do. They
The
care
Carol.
that you're there.
Right,
They
that's
love,
really.
you
Yeah.
know,
They see your love.
and they
Yeah.
know. I have my own reservation. Even while I was pregnant, I was so scared. And I will tell you, everything fits into place. It's beautiful.
I
And
genuinely believe, yeah, everything does eventually.
yeah. Okay, Sonia, do you want to get into your fears? Or do you
Yeah.
want to kind of skip through that?
No, I can. I'm more than happy going into my
Okay.
fears. So my first one was about never being able to find love. I've never really had great experiences in that, because there's been guys like in the past where it's like I could see they were obviously like turned off by it, but with you and Carson, how you guys have fiancés, that definitely does give me hope. But I'm like already worried that because I'm 20, like, and I've never experienced everything, I feel like I'm so far behind. Like I've never had my first kiss, never went on like a real like date, and it's like I feel like that, and I'm like, I don't know if anyone will ever like fully like accept me for who I am and see me like beyond my CP. I feel like, and I know like it weeds out like the bad guys, but I'm like, what if there's not like a single one that I run into that actually will, or like, and then like and, like what if they don't meet my standards, if it's like someone who does, but it's like not everything that I would want in a guy, and I feel like it just like very like limits the pool, like, you know what I mean? And then if it somehow
Yeah.
does like hypothetically happen, I worry like, am I gonna be enough, am I gonna be fulfilling, am I gonna be like a burden, or are they ever gonna see me like as equal, like as if this is a true partnership and not someone that they just have to take care of. And I feel like I'm gonna be like very like insecure in the sense that like I'm not gonna be able to fulfill or satisfy them like as much as they want. Like, does that, do you get what I mean?
I've been where you are.
You have?
Totally. Oh, absolutely. 1,000%, yes.
Wait,
And
how
I
did you
will.
meet your fiance? Can I ask?
Actually, we went to the same high school, and then we
That's so
didn't.
cute.
We didn't talk in high school at all.
Oh.
It wasn't until after we graduated we came together via Facebook, actually.
Oh,
And
like were you in
that's,
college or like
yeah, I was 23.
oh wow, so it was like
Yeah,
several years after high school then.
yes. And I get it, it's hard. You think no one could ever love me like this, but it's the biggest
Yeah, I'm
lie.
like genuinely so scared. I'm like, I'm passing all these milestones. I've never had my first kids. I'm like gonna graduate college before I even like have
Well,
anything.
I wouldn't worry about that. You gotta
Mhm.
let life happen. And that's the reason why I'm with someone today. I got to a point where I was dating these horrible, horrible guys that were just
Oh
using me.
God.
And I knew they were using me, but I let them because I wanted
Right,
to
because you're just
feel.
so hungry for love. It's like at least you had someone.
Exactly, I wanted to feel wanted. I wanted to feel
Mhm.
like I was something to be desired.
Right, yeah, I get it. There's just something about being desirable, someone desiring you, even if
A-
it's not in the right way or for the right reasons. You still stay.
And that's not what love is. Love is accepting someone
Hmm.
no matter what they're going, even if they're not disabled. They could be going through something. They could
Right,
be,
unconditional love. I love that.
yeah. So I would say I know. Like I
Mhm.
know where you are right now. I know
Right,
it's hard.
thank you.
You will get through this. You will
I
have
hope
your
so.
kiss. You will find someone. You might kiss a few toads along the way, but
Exploring.
yes, but you will find that
Oh,
desire.
thank you. I'm glad it worked out for you, man. I'm so happy to hear. That's actually so awesome.
And now we have this platform. More people.
I don't know about online. I'm so traditional.
I know it's my
I want to
tradition.
meet in person. I'm like, that'll be like a last resort. I'll give myself till I'm 25 and then I'll start online dating. That's like what I've
Yeah,
set like as the cap. And it's also like, this is low key off topic. It's also hard because I don't want kids, and I feel like a lot of guys want kids. So then I feel like
I
that's another obstacle.
Yeah, why don't you want kids?
Because for the reason kids deserve unconditional love, and my
And
love
you,
is very much conditional, and I don't want to put a kid through that. And I really want to like travel and stuff, and I feel like with a kid, like you'd have to wait for it to grow up, and then it's like also kids are just really expensive. So for me, I don't. It doesn't really fit my lifestyle and the person I am. Like I think babies are cute and kids can be cute and fun. And so I'm glad I can be like the fun aunt because my brother wants kids, but having my personal kids, I don't know, it's just not for me.
Can I make a bet? I bet in 5 years you'll change your mind.
My mom says the same
I
thing.
yes, I bet. Maybe
You,
not, but
oh
I
my God,
think so.
we'll come back to this 5 years. It's on camera.
Yes, I'm keeping you around. I like you.
Oh, I love you too. Oh my God, let's see. I don't see myself changing my mind. It's been since my sophomore, junior year of high school I might want a kid, so it's been like 3.5 years. But we'll see. Maybe when I
We'll
grow up.
see.
Should I get into my other fears?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and then so my other fear was like you were kind of touched on it, like with employment. I was like worried about that, and I know that it is possible to get a job at CP because I know obviously this was like more like a menial job, but I did work at CVS and they were very accommodating. I loved it, so I know it's possible. But I worry like in the future, like when I get like a big girl job for lack of a better word, I'm scared like with the training like phase or whatever because of my vision, I might not be able to see the screen or something, and I'm scared they're gonna have to make like a lot of accommodations, and that even just when they see the way I walk, like saying like when I'm going to an interview, I know they're technically not meant to discriminate or have any bias, but I feel like there's always like a subconscious internalization, and I hope that doesn't deter people from giving me a chance. And I just worry that this is probably low key rooted in a lack of self confidence that I won't be able to meet the expectations because I don't know, because I won't be able to learn it because like I just don't want them to like if I take a little longer because I can't see something, I just hope like yeah, that I can find someone who's like willing to accommodate in that sense. And then also I just feel like with growing up in general, like I'm scared there might be like tasks or that I won't be able to do, but I know that I can. It's just it might take a while to find like adaptations or something because I never thought I would be able to live in my on my own, but I live in my own apartment. There are some like it's hard for me to like open things, but I live independently. I cook, clean,
Right,
take
you
care of myself.
find ways to
Yeah, it's
do
like when
it.
you're put in those situations, I do believe that CP has really makes you a creative, adaptable person.
Oh
That
yeah.
like you really have to think outside of the box to do something like that. An able-bodied person wouldn't even think twice of. So I guess like looking at my past overcoming definitely kind of comforts me with the future in terms of like the job and growing up. I feel like you just have to look at what you've already achieved because there's so much more that can be achieved. And then lastly, Carson kind of talked about it, is like with the whole growing up with CP, your body deteriorating. I fear like that I don't know if I might just not find life as enjoying or fulfilling. I might not be able to enjoy the things I like to do. And like again, like I said, I like to travel, and I feel like obviously you like it's better to be in a better physical condition. It makes it a little bit easier, and I'm scared that I won't be able to go all the places I want to before my body gives up on me. But that's why I'm working hard to try preserving it. But and I'm like, I get to a point where I'm scared, like, what if I, like how he was saying, have to be super dependent on somebody?
Yeah, I wanted to say this too. At
Hmm.
some point, no matter where we are, we will have to be dependent on somebody. See,
Yeah, even able-bodied people when they get
yeah.
old. Like I've seen my grandpa, he has dementia. He now has trouble walking as well and trips a
I'm
lot.
so sorry about that.
It's
My
okay.
grandfather died in 2019. He had
I'm
dementia.
sorry.
It's
I feel
okay.
like it's just so popular, unfortunately. It's a
It
really
is.
sad thing to see them like forget something. I'll be like, I just told you that 30 minutes ago, and it's really sad because he was a really, really, really intelligent man. He came to this country with $20 to his name
Wow.
and made a huge living.
No, I'm sorry for you too. Yeah, and your family going through that. I know how hard it is. I
I'm
used,
sorry you had to go through that as well. I
yeah, I
can't
used
imagine that
to,
pain.
I was kind of his healthcare worker for a while
Oh,
before,
really?
yeah, before he, like, kind of lost control of his body, so to say.
Oh my God, that
And
must have been so hard to see, especially if you were
it's,
the one who took care of him.
yeah, it's hard to watch. And, but I will say, your body will deteriorate. Everyone will. And
Right, it's a part of
the,
life. Ours
the,
just will
pe-
happen quicker.
the people that love you will take care of you
Uh,
unconditionally. Of
yeah, I
course,
hope I can meet people like that.
you will. I
Yeah,
sincerely believe that with all my heart.
thank you. I definitely do believe, yeah, that will happen eventually. So, do you want to talk about hobbies with CP?
So I think some hobbies, I can only say what I know personally, and
Mhm.
that's cooking. I really enjoy cooking,
I love
but I know it can be hard when you're limited, So actually, my fiance found me these mesh gloves you can get on Amazon, and they're cut resistant. And that's my
That's
biggest
so cool.
thing when I chop vegetables, meat, whatever. I used to cut
Mhm.
myself all on accident all
Oh
the
God.
time, and it was taking away from something I love.
Yeah.
So I would say if you love someone, or not someone, if,
Something.
if you love something, I believe there's always a subset of that thing you can do,
Yeah, you just
even
gotta
if
find that
you
time.
don't have that ability. Say you love cooking, but you don't have the hand ability, you can still create recipes. I think that's super fun. And guess
Yeah.
what? I'll try them for you. Email the pod and I'll
Oh my
cook.
God, get a little clip of you making it. That would be so cute. What do you like to
Totally.
cook?
What do I like to cook?
Yeah.
Um, really everything. I like to make steak. I like to make spaghetti. I love spaghetti. What
Mhm.
else? Like very homey, comforting food.
Right. Yeah,
My
really
favorite.
comfort food. I love that. That's awesome.
And my daughter loves my banana bread.
Oh wow. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
And that's kind of what I got for
Mhm.
hobbies.
Right, okay. Well, yeah, I would like to say that like cooking, I've never really had interest in cooking, but as I like grew up and I'm gonna be living in my own apartment, I'm like, okay, this is kind of important for me to
Right?
know.
You
And I
can't waste your money going out constantly
no
either.
eating out, like even if fast food's not healthy, but even if you do that, that's still yeah, that adds
It
up. It's
adds
so
up, yeah.
expensive. So I'm like even it's very necessary, and even my parents were like a little doubting if I could do it, but it's like yeah, like you said, it's just finding ways or like what technology or finding just ways you do it differently with what your abilities is so important, like because I there's this cutting thing, like I know like one of my like parents friends, she doesn't have one arm at all, and so she also like has trouble like cutting stuff, and like there's this one thing where you like just push down and it cuts. So it's really good for like
Oh,
things
yes.
like potatoes or something like that can just be cut in one motion. Like it would be
Oh,
harder.
yeah. I have one of those too. They're awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I find that super helpful. But yeah, like it's just and it's like finding what you can cook best. So like I'm able to cook like stuff, and I'm like really glad about that.
Aren't you so proud? It's like,
Yeah, it felt the
see,
first
mom and
time I
dad?
cooked in my apartment. It may have not tasted the best, but I'm like, whoa, I did
Hey,
this top to
it fed
bottom.
your
This is
body,
my
right?
cooking. It's really an accomplishment, even if you have to find adaptive ways like how I did, you do. It's like you still did it. It doesn't take away from it at all.
No.
And it's just super rewarding. And then I just wanted to like say some other hobbies. Is like when I was younger, for like years and years, I did horseback riding. So it is you just again have to find accommodations or like to make it more accessible for yourself. Like with the reins, like how they normally are like connected into that one and you hold one on each end. Instead I had like two that were tied into like a loop thing, and I was able to do that one. And yes, sometimes like if I was like cantering or something like on the horse, like my right hand would drop it. But it's like it's just all about finding like accommodations to do what you like. So that's also a good hobby. And then painting is very doable. I painted again for years. It's really soothing, relaxing. So if you have one workable hand, even if it doesn't have all the capabilities, it's just holding a brush, and it's really cool to see your artwork come to life. If you can sing and have a good voice, that good for you. I was not blessed with that. But
Me
that's
neither.
also definitely a possibility. Any form of like drawing or like that is very doable. So those are, yeah, some, I mean, I think I like going on walks. So if you are capable of something simple like that, walking at sunset, walking on the beach, or walking like in a nature preserve is really nice. But those are some hobbies that I have.
Well, thank you, Sonia. Those are perfect. I think they'll really resonate with people. And I want a small story about horseback riding.
Oh, did you ride horses?
I tried.
Tried.
So,
Uh-oh, did you fall? It's okay. I've been there many times.
no, not I didn't fall, but so I went to this dude ranch, and it was
Oh,
like
wow.
a kind of vacation thing.
Mhm.
So you would go riding like once a day. They took you on trail. It was pretty commercial, but it was fun.
Okay,
And
that's nice.
yeah, but one
Right, so it
day,
wasn't more independent. You were like on forgot crap what it's called these days, but like the string thing. There's a professional name for it, but
yeah,
yeah.
whoever's watching,
Yeah, they know what we're talking
But
about. Yeah, you weren't like independent, like where you had full control of the horse.
but so they decided to go like what's when they go running? What's it called?
There's trotting, which is like fast walking, running-ish, and then cantering, which is like speed running.
Okay, I think I was just trotting, but I had never done it before. And
Oh yeah,
like,
you have to like move, sit up and down. That kind of
yeah,
helps. I don't know if
and
you did
I
that.
was hanging on to the, like that,
Mane,
yeah, the reins so
like clutching for
tight
dear life.
for dear life. And by the time I got off that horse, my hand had blisters all over it.
Oh
It
my
was the
god, because you
worst.
were like clenching it.
It was the worst thing. It hurt so
Oh, maybe
bad.
they should have just stuck to walking. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember the first time, yeah, trotting is like it's like a wake-up call. It's like, whoa, it's so bouncy.
Yeah,
So
and
fast.
that's the last time I went horseback riding.
So it was a once and done. You've never gone on a horse
One
since
and
then.
done. Yeah,
You're like, that's not for me.
I'm done with this. Okay, well, I want to give a shout out to the Cerebral Palsy Discord because they've been helping us with the advertising and stuff, and they're really helpful. So we want to be a voice for the CP community, offering our experience, insight, and advice. We want to help anyone feeling alone, help build others up, or just shed light on people that don't have CP. Additionally, we strive to create an engaging environment, directly answering questions from you guys.
Yeah,
So
guys,
if you,
please leave them in the comments on
yes,
our
please,
Instagram.
or email us directly.
Or
We'll
email us directly if
always,
you don't want it to be
yes.
publicly shown.
And we would love to hear from you. And if you would like to be a guest, again, email us or comment on any social we have out there. And
Everything's at the Moxie Pod.
yes, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.